another great episode of Undressed with Paul and Patrick and Little Snow White 90210. Bitches in the house.
Hey, Undressed bitches. I'm super excited because we have a really cool friend in the Paula 2 Beverly Hills boutique today.
Special surprise just for all of you.
Yes, and you will know him because he is a infamous celebrity astrologer. He's like worked with everybody, done everybody's charts, done everybody. Can I say done everybody?
He's done everybody.
Anyway,
up and down the sidewalks, everybody.
Depends on which position.
Exactly,
Yes.
bitch. We are welcoming Kyle Thomas in the house. So, growing up in
God.
Wisconsin,
Yes.
were you only child, siblings?
So I'm the oldest. I
Okay.
have two younger.
Don't you have two more?
I have two
A
younger
brother and-
brothers.
Oh,
Yes.
all boys.
We're all boys. They're
my God.
wonderful.
Your mom
and
had
I'm-
it easy.
We just I mean, yeah. I mean, I think certainly like we were all good kids.
How many are gay?
I have one. My youngest brother is gay.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Luke,
sweet.
Luke James.
What a nice name
Oh,
for a
I
gay
just-
boy.
I love him
Yeah.
so
Luke
much.
James.
He visits. We go on adventures.
Wait, what's your middle name?
I'm
If
Kyle
you-
Thomas.
No middle name.
Oh well, Thomas
No, it's
is
Kyle Thomas. That's the middle
Yeah,
name.
yeah. No,
that's not the last
so
name.
legally I've been going by Kyle Thomas since
Got
I was
it.
18.
Okay.
Oh my
So
God.
Kyle Thomas is my name.
Your name.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's Kyle Thomas.
Yeah.
Like
So-
everybody calls you. It's like me.
But what is your,
Yeah.
are you German background?
No, I'm Polish, Irish, Greek, and Polish, Irish,
He's
German.
from
and-
Wisconsin.
No, but there's a lot of
Greek.
Germans in
Yeah. So
Wisconsin. I know
yeah,
that.
I do have some German in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You're gonna have a lot of Brussels in you for sure. When as soon as you get to Brussels. I hear somebody's going to Sicily.
Yeah, well, this is my first time going overseas to
What?
Europe. I know, and so I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
I've always been a workaholic,
Okay.
and I've actually had a few different careers. I'm always doing 18 jobs, like you were
You've
saying.
got to.
So does he.
Yeah, like and so my first initial career was in entertainment. I was an actor. I was a producer.
No
I owned my
way.
own production company.
Oh, wow.
I've had many different.
You're 12 fucking years old. When did you manage all this shit?
Wait,
Well,
what did
feel
you
like, I
produce?
feel like
What
I'm
would we
so
know?
behind.
Anything we would
Well,
know?
so I built my production company in Chicago.
Okay.
And it was called
Oh.
Hesperidian Productions. And I had a really wonderful team and a lovely business partner. And we had a fashion department. We had a film department.
God.
We had a music department. So what I was trying to do was like create a studio on a smaller scale.
Right.
And we built some short films. We built some
Nice.
It's
you know,
all art.
yeah, and so we had fashion shows, we had all sorts of stuff, and I just
very cool.
I long for that period in time again in
Yeah.
some ways, but what I'm really looking to do actually as my career evolves now is I want to do that again, but I want it to be based around astrology.
Sure.
So yeah,
how
so
did
that's
you
like
get
that's in my
into-
couple year plan and
Like, how did you get into being an astrologer? Like, how do you know things, and how did you wake up one day? Like, what's the evolution of?
Yeah, well,
this?
I ultimately, I've always been very intuitive and empathic. I think we all are. Certainly, you guys. The first time I met you guys, I was like, I feel you.
Yeah.
And so I had very profound spiritual experiences. I grew up Catholic, very traditional, and initially my family, because I could speak to spirits or I could speak to energies.
Yep.
And
You
people,
could feel the frequency differently.
How old were you when you first discovered that, though?
Oh, I mean, I've been doing
Like
this
a
since I was
kid.
like a baby. I mean,
Got
I
it.
remember there were moments where I was like, I mean, I don't know if I can actually say I remember this, but
Yeah.
but I feel like I did, where I was like in my crib and I'd like see spirits.
Yes.
Or they'd like come into the crib, and
Mm-hmm.
those, can that be proven? No, because it was all, but it's not. I mean, I have very very vivid
memories of
recollections.
it.
But it's
yeah.
almost like a part of your consciousness that
Exactly.
you felt, and if you just went back to that space,
Yeah.
and you laid there
Yep.
and you close your eyes for a blink,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, it's like it's visually
Totally.
live and so present.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I've even like brought things up to my mom or to my family and been like, "Did we used to have this kind of shelf, or did we have these kinds of?" She's like,
Right.
"How would you remember that?"
Yeah.
And so again, I feel really blessed that I've had this. But I started studying astrology when I was 8 years old. So it's been about 30 years now that I've been doing this. And
How does one study history? Just start reading about all the
Yeah.
famous astrologers.
Yeah,
and the
well,
predictions
I mean,
and-
I love culture. I
Yeah.
love spirituality. I love myth and ancient, civilizations, and it just like it always drew me. And one of the things when you're looking back in ancient civilizations, it all ties to the
How
gods
they
and the
used-
goddesses and
Absolutely.
astrology.
Of
and
course.
so again, it was just like one thing led to another. And during the weekends, like my dad, like he was this big like marathoner. He would love to run. I didn't really want to go do that, so I'd be like, drop me off at the
I'm
library.
gonna go to the library.
And I would just read and read and
Yeah.
read and draw and read and
Nerd
like,
alert! Nerd
Yeah.
alert! Nerd alert!
yeah, so I spent so much time, and then then I would like sneak out books, and then I would read them, and then the other thing about me too is that I don't like to just read a book and accept it as truth. I don't. If someone
You wanna
tells me,
investigate.
I want to
Yeah.
investigate it and I want to understand it. So pretty much anyone that I would meet for, decades, I'd be like, "What's your sign?"
Yeah.
And then I would like start to put together the pieces
And
of
the
like,
processes
and I'd be
of
like,
it.
"Okay, now I see these similarities, and there
Yeah.
are patterns,
Yeah.
and there are cycles,
Wow.
and
very
then I would be looking at my
But
chart."
see, from what you just described to me, it was as if it was a calling.
yeah,
And you
100%.
felt it wasn't like you were looking for a job, a career, or you're like, oh, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
take the traditional method of how things are supposed to be laid out in the universe for us.
Yeah.
You knew that there was something that pulled you, it drew you
yeah.
to
But
investigate.
Are you the only one in your family that has this
I
kind
can't
of gift, or is there
imagine.
anybody else?
To a degree. I mean, my brother, who is also gay,
Yeah.
he is very heightened in
Okay.
his intuitive abilities, and the more that we help, we
Is
talk
that
about
the
it.
one we met? Did we meet?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did. You
Brother.
did meet Luke.
Yes, we
yes,
did.
yes.
Because
When I was on Jeff Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one that we
Oh.
just briefly.
I
Just
remember
got
that.
Yes,
we did
so
meet him.
he's, I just love him. He and I are so similar.
Sweet kid.
And but yeah, so like I've cultivated these gifts, and but the thing about it is I look at myself as, yes, I am an astrologer,
Yeah.
but I am an artist, and I
Yes.
believe that everything that we live and breathe and create in life is art. Our relationships are art.
Sure.
The way that we communicate and present ourselves to the world is art. The legacy that we build,
Of course.
and we leave is art.
Is astrology more? And again, I'm ignorant when it comes to this. It's interesting, and it's always intriguing to me. But is it more with planets aligning, or is it all like? Is it? What's the difference between like mythology and astrology? Like, I don't.
Well, astrology, like I was saying, is an art form.
Got
And
it.
there's many different techniques that you can utilize because you can use it for so many different kinds of things.
Yeah.
And one thing that I also talk about too is that astrology is predictive. We want to know like what's the horoscope, or like, how are things going to be? But I also teach people to use it in an empowering sense so that it's productive, so you can manifest the life that you want. Now, there are certain days or certain times that are just going to be like luckier for
Yeah.
you or your chart.
Oh my
or-
God, I need to know.
Yeah. And so what I do here is we look at how those energies are being expressed, and then we see that, okay, this is a great day that you could sign a contract or find love or improve your relationships. However, going back to the predictive standpoint, which
Right.
is something that I do specialize in, there's like 800 different techniques you can use.
Yeah.
And so I like to work with the transiting planets. And so
Oh.
the planets are moving at all given
When they
times.
align, right? When the planets
Well,
align.
yes, but they're always moving. So
Okay.
even if they're not necessarily in conversation with each other,
Yep.
They're still exhibiting some sort of frequency.
Okay.
So, like saying, like, okay, the sun is in Leo, or we have a full moon in Aquarius. On
Right.
a collective level, we're going to be experiencing certain kinds of frequencies and vibrations on the mass scale of humanity, but then also in our individual charts. Like for
Right.
you, that might be like, oh, honey, we can see that there's a high likelihood you're going to sign a check. Or for
Oh,
you,
honey,
yeah,
this is
you're
the night-
like, make that rain, honey.
Tonight is the night when I just do anything you want.
Yeah, like
my God.
so. But again, it's like there are. I want to use this example. So when I was in my late teens, I actually started to go to mentors or people that were professional astrologers or psychics, and I would ask them, be like, what do you see? And I want to know, and I wanted to learn from them.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of different, experiences. However, several of them, I would say about like 5 to 7 of them, they would all be like, well, Kyle, you're going to get married twice. And the first time is you're going to get married when you're 32. And you're going to have 2 kids. And then you're going to get divorced when you're 39. And then you're going to get, then you're going to get married the second time to your true love when you're 42. Well, I don't like those kinds of predictions.
Right.
And all of those didn't even come true.
Right.
I'm 37 years old, and I've
never been
married. I've never been engaged. But making predictions that are like that when someone can't actually engage with the energy, I think is defeatist.
Yeah.
And also, certainly there can be a beautiful power of that art, but you can't prove it unless it's retrospect.
Sure.
So if, for instance, I'm saying like,
But
okay,
it's giving somebody hope, though. Isn't that what?
that's not hope. That was pissing me off because I didn't
you're
want to
like,
get
I'm
married
30.
twice.
I would be pissed off because I would
Yeah.
be like,
I'm
So
32. Where's the
No,
ring?
but this is when I was 18. They
Right.
told me
Oh,
this.
that's true.
So I'm sitting there and I was like, first off, I believe in true love. Why
Yeah.
do I have to get married twice? And
Yeah.
then why
wow.
would someone tell me that I'm gonna get divorced? So then going into that first relationship or getting marriage, is it doomed?
yeah.
I have expletives that I would say about that. But
Yeah,
it's
of
not.
course.
No, but like that's not.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's so not okay, and
Yeah.
it's I had stress, and it would made me upset, and then
understand.
and it's the thing is it's I believe particularly because again I think we work and we co-create with the universe.
Sure.
We can manifest what we're looking for. But you have to work with certain paradigms. Like there are zodiac signs or natal charts
Yeah.
that are luckier for love or luckier for success or certain things of
Can
that
I
nature.
say that when I found out, let's say when we first met, when we first met, and we'd only known each other for maybe 24 hours at that point, and 48 hours we already left the city and went about our business. I asked him what his sign was.
Of course.
You
yeah.
did.
And I didn't even know at the time. Then my friend gives me a book and says, oh, he's a Cancer, you're a Capricorn, one of you is a snake, one of you is a monkey. And then he made me read the different things that
Yeah.
they had written out.
Yeah.
And
You were the snake.
I was a snake, and
Yeah.
I never believed me to be a snake. And I'm like, I'm a
Wow.
snake, but I guess I'm a
Yeah.
snake.
Well, I mean, but also
But it was very interesting
yeah.
how I read it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think much of it. I mean, I wasn't getting together with the guy. I had no
Sure.
idea. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
If I go back to it, I'm like, so accurate.
Well, but this is the thing about it is that I think that it's like looking in a mirror, and
Right.
so you can sort of understand the nuances and the beauty and
Yeah.
the talents and the diversity that exists all within you. Like the tapestry of the stars, the beauty of the stars
Right.
exists within you.
Yeah.
So then by again being aware of it, you can lean into your strengths or you can use it to your advantage
I like that.
rather than being limited by negative patterns or thought
Yeah.
cycles or things. And like, for instance, like there could be someone's chart that says like you go through really intense karmic relationships or you tend to be codependent. Or you
Talking
have-
about Jeff.
No, I'm just
Jeff
saying,
Lewis.
just in
Relationships.
general. No, I'm not saying about him
No,
specifically
but,
at all.
but different people do.
But yes, and
100%.
and
I think I was codependent before I met him.
yeah,
I really do.
They were the wrong sign, bitch. They were the wrong sign.
you were like out of here.
It was Gemini. Never again.
Well, you're Gemini rising. I think I have to look at your chart again.
Ah!
But yeah, and I do want to break down and talk about some of your
Sure,
chart
we
stuff.
will.
But again, by being aware of those kinds of patterns or
Right.
behaviors, we can hopefully transmute them into a healthy and productive means.
But you've been able to really hone in to something that's so specific
Yeah.
to individuals to understand that it's not just a generic aspect of it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I
a
agree.
it's a very specific to an individual, to the minute, to the day, to the time, to the year,
Yeah.
to so many different attributes.
Yeah.
That it's not just looking at, oh, you're Capricorn, which means.
But it's
well,
also
I'm
your
just-
intuition, right? It's
Yeah.
your
I do add
There's
intuition.
so much
Yeah.
more to it.
because like how do you because you write for people, you
Yes.
write a column for people, an
Yes.
astrology. Is that every day or every week? Or?
I have a weekly column with People Magazine,
Okay.
so I am the resident astrologer for People Magazine.
I read
love
the
that.
horoscope.
as well as
I'm like, bitch, tell me what's gonna
But
happen
how do
this
you
week.
gather the information every week to change it? Because it's so interesting to me
Well-
how it changes, but it's always like
Well, it's like
accurate.
fashion. It moves really fast, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to have your finger on the pulse to know
Yeah.
exactly what's going on.
Well, part of I think the thing that has been really helpful in expanding my career is that I I really want to help people,
Mm-hmm.
and I really want to spread light and love and hope, but
Sure.
but illuminate things and guide people in a way that they can not only see themselves as, a piece of their story, but like the narrator and,
Yep.
and the hero of that journey as well. And so I think that by hopefully the way that I write, whether it's in People Magazine or when I'm on TV or I'm on shows here, or my Instagram or whatever it be, again, I want people to look at that and be like, I feel this and it's mine.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a
You're
service.
empowering.
And yeah, a service, and that's part of my
love that.
art.
And you get people, I'm sure, that respond back. Like when he does his coffee reads, the messages that come back
yeah.
of how he's helped people and stuff is just incredible
Yeah.
and beautiful.
I mean, I take
and
so
I'm sure
much.
you get that as well.
all the time, yeah.
I
Yeah.
take so
And I'm
much.
so grateful to hear that. It makes
Yeah.
me so happy.
It's crazy the responsibility that I
Yeah.
feel to each individual that I come
Yeah.
across
Mm-hmm.
and the information that I relay to them that I see and the impact that then it has
Yeah.
on them and how they see things through with a different perspective and a different lens that gets them to the next stage or to the next level or to their journey.
He loves it. It's
Yeah.
very
I,
cool.
I can't stop doing it.
Yeah, I love it. So again,
Yeah.
but part of that is that is an energy, that is a magic, that is a calling to also be a healer. And the cool thing
yeah.
that I think that we get
I
to
thought
do.
I was always a fucking designer. I didn't know.
But you are. But there's nuances and layers of your talent. You can heal someone with
Yes.
that as well.
100%.
And, like I paint, I do TV, I write lyrics, I
Right.
write novels, I do all sorts of stuff. But
Sure.
the thing that I think at this point in time that people are most recognizing
Drawn.
of me
Yeah.
is the art of astrology. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. This is why, again, as sort of like putting it out there, I can't wait to be launching the next stage of this production company with,
Yeah.
with doing films,
Yep.
with doing, music, and
Well,
with
hopefully I'll
doing-
get called
I
in
would
for
love,
fashion.
I would love to. I would love
I
to.
mean,
like,
I'd
talk
like to do fashion.
Yes.
Hello.
But that's exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Like, and collaboration is so important to me because, like,
100%.
I'm not going to be the one that's designing the fashion for astrology,
Right.
but we'll consult and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever wanted to do something about that, I would love.
We used to
collab.
do. I used to do an article
Yeah.
that it was zodiac related.
Okay.
And the fashions and colors that
Yeah.
you would wear.
Oh, yeah, it was
Yes.
interesting. I remember you did
made,
that. Yeah.
I did it for a national magazine,
Yeah.
Zodiac Habit, for many
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, yeah.
And I did it where, you know how you write what your day is going to be like or what the feelings are, or the stars and the moons and how the alignment
Yeah.
is. I used to write about the colors, the energy, and
He
what
loved it.
was going to give you that extra pep in your step
Totally.
in where you are,
Absolutely.
in what was coming and what you needed to attain with fashion, with style, with color, with patterns, with detail.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
one get from Wisconsin to Chicago to LA?
On a plane.
Yes.
No, but
on a
how,
plane.
your journey,
Well,
what brought you to LA and how did you get
Again,
to LA?
we had talked about the production
hot
company that I
guy.
had. No, the production company. Unfortunately, that we did sort of fold that when I was in Chicago. Because
It's hard. It's
I
hard,
wanted to actually transition more into doing being a television writer.
Got
Ah.
it.
And so I, my attorney, who's a Cancer, whom I love her, Catherine Emp, just the coolest and best, love her. She sort of like shook me and she was like, you need to move if you ever really want to make it in Hollywood. And I was like, no, I can make it in Chicago. I can be the big fish here and I can be the one, that brings it all Hollywood to Chicago.
No, you can't.
And no, you really can't. And that's the big thing that I really I had to let go of that stubbornness.
Yeah.
And so I came for 6 weeks just to sort of try it out.
Yep.
Had a bunch of really big meetings with really big companies, and
Mm-hmm.
I did fall in love
And
when
fell
I
in
first.
love.
I fell in love like right away, and
How could
Oh,
you
no.
not?
no, but with a man, and it
Yeah.
was like there was magic
How
there.
could you not?
And
No,
how long
but
were you together for?
We
with him?
never were officially together. We were on
Oh.
and off doing this sort of karmic dance for, I guess, like 4 years.
Oh my God.
It was
Yeah.
sex.
Wow.
No, it wasn't just
No
that.
sex.
No,
he
just
was a
karmic.
Capricorn, and it was
Well,
very,
what do you mean he was a Capricorn? Sex is great with a Capricorn.
No, I know,
This is true.
but he was like, I really, I don't know. I was sort of,
In a different
I
space.
felt so like our souls were so connected.
Yeah.
And
I get
it
that.
was traumatically, artistically inspiring, but also devastating. I mean, we would go
Lot of
through this
highs, a
dance.
lot of lows.
So
But it kept you in LA.
Yeah.
well, yes, but also my career is what kept me in
Yeah.
LA. But I also felt like the sun had risen, and we were going to be together and forever. And we're not. I actually haven't talked to him in a really long time. I have no.
But you feel a spiritual connection to
Not anymore.
someone.
I not anymore. I mean, I've I hope he's great, and I haven't talked about him on a podcast forever.
long
But
time.
but he, that was a part of my journey, and so then
Sure.
each other layer of it. But the thing that I thought was like so frustrating is that, I'm working and trying to like break in or be a writer's assistant or do really find a way in, and I'm broke as hell.
Welcome to
And-
my life.
Oh my god, it was so bad, and I was just like, I was literally and this is not like a bad thing.
Yeah.
I was so grateful that this existed, but for pretty much like 10 years, the only time I could eat was I'd go to the dollar store.
What?
Seriously.
Wow.
And it was crazy because it was like no one would help me. My parents and my family have resources, but they weren't sharing them with me. And
They
so-
wanted you to do it on your own.
exactly,
basically.
which again,
Yeah.
fine. But so it was a really, really tough time. And I would like get these big meetings, and then I'd be like, why can't I break through?
Yeah.
And then I started writing horoscopes on my website and on my Facebook, and they were going viral. And
Nice.
then I was getting picked up by blogs, and then I was getting, Cosmopolitan contacts me, and then people are like, wow, like your stuff is really accurate.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was really cool is that because of just being in Hollywood in the industry, you meet people that are celebrities or are connected to celebrities.
Sure.
So because I was doing readings,
Yep.
one person passed me to another, and then
Yeah.
one person. So then I'm
Who
doing.
was your first celebrity you read?
Technically, I can't talk about celebrities in that regard right now.
Okay.
I signed a lot of NDAs. And
Oh, you have?
Yes, but I do want to say
We could talk about him all day.
the reason I can't is
Yeah.
because there was some time at the beginning where I was talking about it, and then there was problems. So I don't touch anything of that. I can talk about celebrities in the sense of their natal charts or things of that nature.
Do you still do private consults with
Yes,
celebs? You do?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it just really depends on my schedule, and
Okay, you don't have to say who, but what was the most difficult with
Oh,
one?
God, I don't
Male
want
or
to even
female?
go there.
Are there males as much as females?
I do. I would say I do
Is the
more.
energy the same?
More female?
No, I would say I do more female celebrities.
More
Really?
female.
But there have been some really tough ones.
Him too, with
real-
design, with
yeah, like
gowns.
real tough.
No, I
ones.
never had an issue with a gown. They're all cool. They love,
But-
because they can't piss me off.
She was a fucking nightmare. She's
They
she's
can't.
dead
They
now.
can't
Yeah.
piss me
but
off.
she was awful.
Well, but the thing is, here's the thing. I mean, ultimately, the way that I really want to continue to scale my career
Sure.
is that I want to be doing far more television.
Yep.
I want to be doing media projects primarily.
Okay.
Because I can reach more people with my light
I
that
see
way.
what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
And so by me, going on, even being here right today is such a blessing and honor to be working with you guys.
Aw.
And being on Jeff Lewis, I love
Yeah.
that. And any sort of media opportunity, anyone that sees it, because again, I'm not in here to talk shit about celebrities
Yeah.
or talk about
Well, it's not about
you know,
talking shit.
right.
It's about really getting to identify
Yeah.
and the credibility that it brings,
Correct.
because it's
Yes.
not about the celebrity.
yes.
It's about the fact that there's major influential and affluent people
Absolutely.
that
100%.
believe
Yeah.
in certain attributes that this provides.
Yes.
And whether you're a celebrity or just a housewife or you're
Yeah.
just
Right.
grandma,
Yeah.
you really touch an aspect of people's lives to be able to draw a valuable
Yes.
thing that then
Well, he
becomes
does
their focus.
coffee readings on huge CEOs,
Yeah.
Fortune
I do, so that's true.
500
Yeah, like
people
Yes,
that
that's
you
what
would
I'm talking about,
never
too.
in a million
Yeah.
years think they're
Like,
getting
yeah.
a coffee reading.
You're
Yeah.
just sitting around,
And they're sitting here on this couch, and I'm like,
Yeah, and we're just hanging
know.
out.
I know.
And I don't know them because I don't even know their name.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know
of
their
course, a lot of them are very popular because you've
Yeah.
seen their
Yeah.
face. You know that they're the who's who of something or someone. But that's real irrelevant because they're here to be able to get the perspective
yeah.
on what the details are.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
And they're
to
all
see.
different. All the copy reads
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
it's so crazy.
Well, and
That's why I know how detailed when you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's very individualized to the human.
yes.
And you have to be able to understand the concept of it.
Yeah.
You can't just, go to AI or Chat GPT and say,
Right.
"Oh yeah, could you give me," like, and
No,
I'm
so
sure.
speaking of that, so that really that frustrates me a lot too, because
Yeah.
people, there's a lot of apps out there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not actually real astrology; it's AI.
Right.
And
I was going to ask you, how is
and-
AI affecting your business?
it's just
And-
like I mean,
Well, there's no. I can't imagine that there's any feelings.
There's actually that's not affecting me.
Yeah.
Because of where I'm at in my career.
Right.
And because I have credibility and I have,
Yeah.
tons of publications and tons of people that I worked
Yeah.
with
Right.
and underground that people know. And
It's probably
Yeah.
AI is probably using all the stuff that you've already put
I
out.
know, I don't
and
wanna
then
go
it's
there.
just blurting it back out.
yeah.
I mean, it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, I actually had I'm
funny.
trying to I had a conversation about this. This was like last week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. Someone was like, "Kyle, you know what we should do is we should like put all of your work into AI." And I was like,
No.
absolutely not. Hell no. I was like,
Yeah.
this is my experience.
Right.
This is my soul and my energy and my wisdom.
Yeah.
And you're not going to ever find that on any AI creation.
No, it's with his
Now,
designs too. The same
yeah.
thing. You can't.
And I do want to, like, for instance, like one of my goals and plans is like I do want to have an app, and I do want to, expand into other technological products and,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
platforms and such. But again, I think it's
I can't find a robot to sew a single bead yet. Let me
Right.
tell you, those bitches, they haven't come up with that.
Well,
but
was
I
it-
would welcome one.
Kim Kardashian's robot went crazy or something a week
did
ago.
it?
They were
Well,
saying her AI
my
robot
God.
went
Well, probably
crazy.
because it wasn't being fed. It was just getting vitamins.
I thought that was funny.
oh man.
It's insane.
I mean, one thing I'll be really excited about, totally on a different tangent, is like,
Yeah.
so I want a car that just drives me everywhere.
We have one.
We have one. Our car.
Oh my
drives.
god, I want one. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm
insane.
I just like can't wait. And my
But we
We
had
do-
one a couple of years
But we
back,
just bought
too,
the
but-
new EQ 450, and he loves it because when we were in Europe, they totaled our car out after our car accident.
We had no
that we
idea
had.
they were going to total
So
our car.
we didn't know. We thought
I
they were
thought
just
I was
gonna
coming
repair
back
it.
to my car
Yeah.
for repair.
yeah.
So we had the A220 Mercedes, and it was totally totaled out. And so he's like, "Well, let's get an electric car." And
I
I
mean,
didn't want to get a
no, why
Tesla,
not?
and I didn't want to get like a, I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to get something luxury. We got the 450, and he loves it. But we were on the freeway the other night, and he turned the turn signal
I
on,
was like a crazy person. If
and
you
the
were
car
following me-
automatically
Changes
changes lanes for you. It flashes to let the drivers know in front of you. It flashes the whole.
So do you
lane
sit in the front seat
Yes.
Yeah,
and it just drives you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so sophisticated. It's insane.
It's crazy. It parks itself. You can go and you push the little parking button, and
So
then it
I
stops
press-
and parks the car.
Oh my
So
god,
I
you guys!
press-
I'm like, this is on my manifestation board for 2025.
Kyle, this is me. I press.
Husband and self-driving car.
God, you want to be me, don't you?
I am a Taurus. We're both Earth signs, you know.
So I press one button,
Yeah.
and the car starts going. I
Yep.
mean, I know what the functions are because
Yeah.
we had the other car prior to this one.
Yeah.
would do the same thing.
Yeah.
but not on the very sophisticated level that
Yeah.
this one does.
And it
So-
gives you a massage while you're driving.
So I put the massager on. I pressed a button. I put the massager on, and I'm just sitting around. My foot's not on the pedal. I'm not touching
so
the
you can like
steering
read
wheel.
or whatever you want. You can
Anything.
scroll on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram.
Yes.
and,
Whatever.
and I'm going, and I'm like, I want to change lanes. I go, babe, look what it does.
he just turns
And
the
at
signal.
first, I thought, oh my God, I'm nervous, and I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that
Yeah.
there were no cars around me, and it was everything is clear, right? I turn on the signal, and I'm gonna go left. An arrow
Yeah.
protrudes out of the car into the lane
That you're turning
on the
into.
opposite side. So if I'm going left,
Yeah.
an arrow, a huge arrow, like a whole car, can
Lights
fit
up the
into
whole
this.
car in front of you.
Lights up the
lane.
whole area.
Area in front.
So it lets the car behind me.
No, that
it
you're gonna-
lets the car on the side of me that I'm changing lanes to.
That
and
I'm
the car
coming in,
front of me
bitch.
that I'm coming over. And I swear to God, I see it's like the sea would part. I turn
It
on
is
the
the
signal,
best
and
feature.
then this goes in, and then the car just. It's not even a graceful little thing like, oh, I'm thinking about it. I
Right.
may or may not do this. It just goes into the lane.
But
And I'm
Kyle,
like,
it's so
wait.
crazy because it'll speed up if it needs to. It slows down if it needs to
So
automatically
here,
to
so
get
this
you
is
in the
me.
lane.
I'm like, that was really cool. I want to go back. So I turn on the other side, and it's like, well, there's another thing.
Yep.
And it goes back. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to do it again. I want to change 3 lanes.
So he's playing on the
I
freeway.
just-
I'm like, oh
so
my
if you
God.
He's
were-
like la 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 la. You know, like
If you were behind me, you saw a drunk person going
you're
right,
like,
left,
what
right,
is
left,
going
what is
on
this
right
guy doing?
now?
But then
Yeah.
the other
He
drivers,
must be a Sagittarius.
Well,
he
the
must
other-
be a Gemini.
the other drivers
Yeah.
though were very intrigued as well because
Yeah.
I don't think they had seen that feature
Yeah.
illuminated and protruded.
But we
because
had-
it's like
Yeah.
But our other car, A220, had it, but it didn't light up the whole road
Yeah,
in
it
front of
doesn't-
you
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
let the
Yeah.
cars know you're coming. So that was actually very, very, very cool.
I mean, it's and it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful car.
It's a
I
That's
just
cool.
like, and I
I
was
love
getting
it.
a massage, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the right, bitch. Let's go to the right. Oh, I'm gonna go up.
But he discovered he didn't even know it did that. He just
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
he was
yeah.
going to change lanes and turn the signal
Well,
on.
I thought it was
and
just
it took
going
over
to-
automatically. Did it?
Well, they told me it changes lanes and it does
Yeah.
all the different things, but
Yeah.
do you really know what it does?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you really ready to be able to know if it does do that, how you're going to hang on
Yeah.
and what you're going to hang on to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I turned over to him and I said, well, now that I have that figured out, babe, do you want a blowjob? Because I think I just do that from the seat here.
You're
I'm
like,
let's
let's
go.
Okay.
Massage.
Massage
I
and a
can
blowjob.
drive.
I'm good.
I mean, I've got 12 jobs, right? I can drive and blow at the same time.
He's like, no, of course. I mean, let's go.
that's exactly what he did.
He's like,
I'm not sure.
He's like, let's press the light or press
There
the
you
button.
go.
All the, like the
I-
windows
You don't
turn
even have
all
to press
black,
the button. You just
like-
tell, hey, Mercedes, change the lights to red.
Yeah.
Everything in the car turns red.
but it's really it's one of those things that I welcome.
Yeah.
I'm
But
so
at the same
excited.
time, I'm
That's cool.
so fearful of because I'm thinking in my lifetime I get to witness not just a car
Yeah, yeah.
drive,
Yeah.
but this car is guiding me. And it's telling me when to stop, when to park,
Yep.
where to find.
It's
it
so
finds
cool.
parking spots for me.
So cool.
It's like it's amazing. I'm like, so what do I need to worry about anymore? I've got 12 jobs. Just shut up, Paul. Just shut up and sit in the car. You can get a massage. Just shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
It's
it gives you
beautiful.
all different levels. You can pick a deep tissue. You can
no
pick a heated one. You can
You
pick.
turn on the heater,
Oh,
the
man.
vibrator, and the. It was just like,
You're like, I'm getting stimulated everywhere.
yes,
Yes.
Do I need to go to the back seat? Although we have him in the back seat too, so I told him I said
Yeah,
no
it's-
next
it's-
time.
it's
But if you
amazing.
don't sit in the seat, it recognizes that you're not present.
Yeah.
So it will not just drive on its own.
Right.
I can
It's
even
not like a Waymo.
I can call the car now. I can call the car for it to. I can summon the car.
It's so cool.
You're like,
I haven't done that yet. Yeah.
did you name it yet? You gotta name it.
I wanted to name it
Come on.
Geneva.
But I'm like Geneva.
hated the
like,
name
it's
Geneva.
so cold. We just came back from all those.
How about
places.
if not Geneva, Arabella?
Arabella?
I would definitely name my car.
We always named our car.
right,
We had we had Lola. Who else do we have?
I think I'm gonna call it Alistair.
no, that's gonna be our child's
Alistar.
name. We're gonna
Well,
name
if
our
my
child
child now-
Alistar. You can't name your fucking car Alistar.
Well, we won't have this car when we have a child. I'll be like in the back seat changing diapers while the car's taking me to my
Right.
destination.
can't be Alistar. What could be a good
Alistar.
car name?
What's a good car name? You know what? I'm gonna ask the professional.
female or a male?
What the name of the energy of the car should be, and then
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna name it.
Well, I guess
like
I mean, do
Alistair.
you have like a birthday for the car, or do you have like the day that you got it? Like,
Oh, when did we get it? We got
yeah,
it.
'cause maybe that we
14.
identify that as the zodiac
114.
sign.
25.
1425.
Oh, you just got it.
Yeah,
Like,
literally
3 days
last
ago.
week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and,
it's-
and I'm
so
getting
it's-
massaged all day. That
Right.
the massager's about to break. I have a warranty on it.
So, I mean, that would be a Capricorn. So Capricorns tend to
Oh.
be, they're an earth sign.
Oh my
It's
god.
a
They-
Capricorn
yeah,
car.
they
Didn't even
Capricorns tend to be hardworking, determined. They like to be leaders.
Yes.
They are
Bitchy.
always doing something.
Controlling.
I mean, here's the thing is, I don't know. But it's like none of that stuff. So here's the thing with Capricorns though. I've dated Capricorns and I love them.
Tell me.
Yes.
There's a level of it that I love, the precision of like being a little bit like them taking the
Wait,
lead.
wait, wait. Before you
But-
say
but
what you're
being
gonna
ultimate,
say,
ultimate controlling, I hate that shit.
That's
Wait,
my
wait,
husband.
Scorpios are just like that too. Scorpios,
Wait.
when they're like all, they're like,
Yeah.
wait, I have
I don't
something
need
to
you to
say.
be
I
like
put a
this right
shirt
now.
on
Is
this
it
morning and he looks
December?
at me and he goes, and I love him because I'll listen to him. He goes, You need to retire that shirt.
That was a fashion statement. It wasn't a controlling statement.
I'm like-
I'm a designer. I want you to look
I'm
as
like,
best
true.
as
I
you
love
can.
this shirt.
Is
I'm
that
like-
the shirt?
No, I retired it. My husband said I had to retire it.
People pay me
Aw.
top dollar for my fashion advice. Hello, am I?
Yeah.
Am I going to be stupid and say,
No, I
"Oh,
understand.
honey, you look great in that shirt"?
No, I
As
understand
everybody else is going to have to puke looking at you.
Right.
You're an inspirational
I
Versace
loved
model.
that shirt.
No.
It was a cute. Are you ready for your coffee reading?
Yes, I'm so excited. Oh my god. Oh my god.
She's been waiting forever.
He has not. Shut up.
Well, I can tell you one thing. In the very, very beginning, when I flipped the cup over, I saw that there's something, because you drank from Patrick's face. 'cause
Right
you're
side,
writing.
right? Yeah.
And then I poured it over on the opposite side, which is my face. And
Flipped him.
your career and some of the things that you've described are things that are not just in hindsight. They're not going to be things that you thought of, but they're things that are actually in the works that I think you have contracts for that if you haven't inked, you will. And if you have, they're going to start moving the wheel forward in the direction that you need it to go. And some of the things, there's two major things here. One, I think is going to be more challenging to be able to get to do, but will happen. The other one is going to be the vehicle that gets the other challenging one released in order for it to go through. So one is going to start to pave the road for you. And then the other one that if they're, oh, well, we're on the fence, I'm not sure. Suddenly they're going to be like, yo, Kyle, what took you so long? We've been wanting you to do this for the longest time. All of a sudden, it's going to line in place and immediately give you the rewards that I think you've been waiting for. And that's probably going to be financial.
That's super cool.
There's also conversation with a new person that you didn't know before. The conversation with this new person that you're thinking, this is what I want to do. Here's where I want to go. Here's how I want to get it done. And you're not thinking of it by having this conversation with this new person. But this new person is paying attention. This new person hears you, sees you. You don't have to say a word or sell yourself. And they're going to be instrumental in getting something done for you when you least expected and you didn't even know you were asking for.
Do you know who this person
Because
is?
conventionally,
Interesting.
I think you think, here's what I need to do, here's the way to get it done, and here's the people that I need to have
Yeah.
to make it happen. This other person that's on the sidelines that you have known but don't really know, like an acquaintance that maybe you've come across, has been watching you. And that person is going to be instrumental in making something happen for you when you least expected, didn't even know it was a thing.
Wow.
And it's going to come through for you.
I believe all. Yeah, I certainly believe all of those things.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, my producer that I'm working with currently, he's the one that reached out in June and really, really vibe with him. I think he's incredible. And the other producers that he's also working with, I don't work as directly with, but I did find out that this really massive celebrity that I have not worked with is also potentially going to be involved. So
That's cool.
Yeah. I was like, when I found that news out, I was like, what? Oh my
Yeah,
God. I
that's
was like,
awesome.
So yeah, I certainly believe. Yeah, I think this.
Well,
is
be on the lookout because
Yeah.
here's
I wonder if
this-
that's the person he's talking
this
about. It sounds like it.
relationship that you don't know about yet is the one that's going to move. And I'm telling you, it's very unexpected. So you know how when you're going to go to a pitch meeting and you're trying
Yeah.
to pitch, I could see it like this and it's going to happen like that. And,
Yeah.
this is what I do and this is how it's going to happen. You don't have to do. No, just you have to be you.
Just show up and smile.
They've been watching and they know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, oh yeah, in the passing, you're like in a hallway, maybe going, yeah, and I am an astrologer. Yeah, nice to meet you. Okay, bye bye. And then you're like, I got a call from who? What are they? What? And what's a proposal? Huh? But I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to come happen for you.
I love it. Yeah. Does it say like a timeline with it, or is it just like this year?
All the stuff that happens in here
Yeah.
are generally 60 days out.
Like right
Okay.
So
soon
it's
coming up.
It's happening.
Okay.
So if you haven't come across this instance yet,
Yeah.
you'll see that just when you least expect it,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to end up with getting something.
Okay.
And you're like, but wait a minute. In my chart, it didn't say that it's going to happen in March. Wait a minute. I'm looking at, July or whatever it is.
It blows me away. You'll be like,
just-
oh my
it'll
God, that just
happen.
it happens all
It's
the time.
unexpected.
very
And
weird.
that's the part that I think is going to get you to identify in a different capacity. See, the conventional method that you're thinking about has challenges because there's a lot of obstacles. This, just when you least expect it, when it presents itself, is going to open up all those flood that you're just like, well, if I knew, I would have done this, but you can't. It's happening, and it's going to happen in the way that you least expected.
That's really cool.
I love it.
I like that.
See, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing this?
Astrology, I mean, I've been studying it for 30 years.
Wow.
And I've been, I've always been sort of like doing readings.
Yeah.
In particular, since I was like 18. But when I started taking it more significantly seriously was, I think it was like 2015, 2016. But my career really didn't launch within it, I would say, until like 2019. Yeah.
That's still a long time.
There was a break at one point in your life that you decided that things were so difficult and so challenging that you did, and I don't know if this has to do with astrology or what, but for your person, you almost didn't want to do anything. There was a point where you realized, you're like, you know what? I can't do this shit anymore. And, we're gay. And there's a lot of challenges that go with that. You're in a strange city. There's a lot of challenges that go with that. You're trying to make it on your own. There's so many challenges with that. But this is something was personal. Something that happened in your life that came back around that then you felt that you couldn't move past until you did something to change the trajectory about how that was going to be able to get you to move from. But that still stays with you. It's when I see a hump like this, and that generally happens, if I were to go back and read the layers of years, it'd be about 10 years. So if you could recall to yourself
Like what that incident
what
was or what
changed
changed.
10 years ago,
years ago.
where then either you were going to just give up, stop, or you were going to full throttle think that this cannot hold me down. I need to be able to see my way through this.
Well, I mean, I think part of that was me leaving the production company that I made. And so
That was that time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was, so I left that company in 2013, but I was sort of like pivoting and being like, okay, like, what do I do? And this goes back, so in my chart,
Yeah.
Saturn was going through my seventh house, and I was also having eclipses there, and that represents partnerships. So I had two best friends that I thought were like the most important people in my life that I would never lose.
Right.
And then also my business partner and my long-term romantic partner. I lost them all.
Oh.
And so had I not lost them all, I wouldn't have moved to Los Angeles because I didn't have anything keeping me there anymore. So that's why when my other connections were like, Kyle, move to LA. Like, this is your destiny. You need to come here. Like, you're going to make it. You're going to break through. And
Yeah.
I was always like, so I was like, no, fighting it. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, just do it. So
So when
Yeah.
that happened, that
Yeah.
was the breakthrough for you to be able to identify this is my only option and I
Yeah.
must do this now instead of because
That makes
otherwise
sense.
if you lost everything as an example or
Yeah.
gave it up,
Yeah.
and that's including friends and a partner and everything else,
That's a lot
I
of
feel
loss.
like that's life is over.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm
That's
done.
a lot.
But you realize how to be able to figure out how to move past it. But you haven't forgotten it.
No.
So for whatever reason, you always refer back to this moment to know how to make sure that you don't ever realize that again.
Like revisit it.
I mean, I think I've had a very blessed and lucky life in a lot of ways. I mean, I think we all go through ups and downs, but
course.
I certainly do feel like, certain traumas that have happened, I do, I've learned from them and I've felt them, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah. And then in those moments of darkness, I've had to redefine either, how much further can I push or,
Yeah.
like literally like I've had this moment a few different times. I was like, I gave ultimatums to the universe. I was like, if these things don't happen by this time, I'm leaving LA or I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
And, and I've was sort of like, it was in 2024. I had said, I was like, if I'm not in a significant relationship, if my career hasn't launched, opened
Like the
more
way
days,
Yeah.
then to the next levels on certain things
Yeah.
by my birthday in 2024, then I'm gonna I need to move somewhere else because I was like, I want to find a husband and I want a house and I want a backyard and
Yeah.
I want, like I'm and
Yeah.
like it's I feel like these are things that I can find. It's not like like I'm putting out and saying that I need to like marry a billionaire.
Right.
Like no, that's not even what I'm out there for. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But so and I sort of was reasserting but then I was signing different contracts and other stuff. So I was like, well, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
And I've also realized that if I were to leave LA, my career and what I do would be done. So like I
Yeah,
have
'cause
to be
this is
I
where
have to
you
be
do
here.
everything.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have met you guys. And there's always
Yeah.
the magic of like, if I hadn't met one person, that I wouldn't have met this person, that I
Right.
wouldn't have met Jeff, but then I wouldn't have met you guys when it's all connected.
Yeah.
And
Of
so
course.
I see that. But I mean, one of the biggest things that really just is really frustrating to me is that it's like I feel like I am so ready for like the right kind of person. And we've talked about this many times. That's just really frustrating to me that it's like not
Yeah.
present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
You know what I
get it.
mean?
That's not true though. There's somebody in your cup that's wanted to be with you for a long time, but you have never opened a door to them. You don't want to be in a relationship. They do.
That's not true though.
They do.
You mean with this person?
Yes. And they're right outside, so close to you that you know this, but you won't allow yourself to go there. Why?
So it's interesting. There's this guy that we
It's not interesting. It's in your fucking cup.
No, I know.
bitch.
No. So there's this guy. So we back, I guess this was like, I don't know, 2017 or something. And I was still emotionally tied to that one person who was obviously not good for me. And I was
Right.
like, I couldn't get over it. It was like, I was
The
like,
relationship before.
yeah. I was like, because it was like we would reconnect and then I would get hope and then it just was really bad.
Yeah.
And wish him the best, but whatever. But anyways, I met this guy and I think, so he's a Leo and we went on, I guess, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 dates and he'd given me his virginity and I was like, I will do it for you if that's what you're asking me for. I'm not like pushing it to, because like that's not like
Right.
whatever. And he is a really nice and wonderful guy. But then shortly thereafter, I found out that he had lied about his age for like 15 years. And I was like, okay.
Oh.
I was like, no, I'm not interested. Like,
Yeah.
age doesn't super bother me.
Right.
But not only have I been dating, like going on dates with you for like literally like 6 weeks, you lied to me about
Yeah.
something that's actually a really significant thing
That's
to
pretty
me.
hard.
Yeah. So I was like, done, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we like reconnected last, I guess it was like September or something, and honestly, I had forgotten him. And I'm not a dick. Like I don't
Yeah.
like. It's not like I'm just like whatever. But
Yeah.
we like reconnected on Tinder, and I was like, you look familiar, and I was like, like who are you? And he was like, you don't remember? And I'm like, no. And anyway, so we like are chatting, and he's like, we went on,
Oh, but they remember.
yeah. But so then
Of
he
course they
like
remember.
comes over, and so we're having wine, and
Yeah.
it's like we're just like a wine date or whatever. We're gonna like, go to my rooftop. He comes over, and then he like starts crying because he's like, I've been in love with you for like 8 years, and I never could find you again. And I was
Oh
like,
my
wow. I was like, I'm not in love with you, and I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not even not being open. I'm not.
Yeah.
So if that's him,
That's probably
the
it.
reason I'm not open
Yeah.
to it is because I'm not in love with him, nor will I ever be in love with him.
Yeah. But it's hard if
Unless
someone
it's someone
lies to you
else.
about something like that.
Exactly. I mean, and
Like, I
he's-
don't think you would have cared if they were 15 years
No, not at all.
off on their age,
Absolutely
right?
not. Like, he's handsome, he's sweet. Also, I just don't think we're sexually compatible anymore.
Yeah.
So, if this is the man,
That's probably it.
it's a hard no. So,
But
universe better find me somebody else. There better be somebody else in this cup.
but here's what.
It's not just a no, it's a hard no.
It is a hard
No,
no.
but
But I
it's-
want to be friends with him. And
But
it's
it's
fine.
but my point. This person that's been in love with you all this time, even though you put it out of your mind, even though you're spiritually not connected, even though you're sexually not compatible, even though for whatever reason you can't see ever being with this person, for whatever realistic reason that you know, they have a hold on you in a different way because you opened up the door enough. When you found out who they are when they were explaining it to you, you needed to stop the date, stop the conversation, and stop that relationship, because you can't be friends with someone who has a yearning for you for all that time.
I know.
Because
Yeah,
now
that
they
is
have
true. Yeah.
because they brought them to your cup. Because now they brought themselves back into the fold to be part of your orbit.
So what do we need? Like a voodoo doll or something?
No.
Well, no. I mean, I told him. I mean,
And
especially
I know
since we,
you want to
Yeah.
be friends because you're just a sweet
Well,
guy
but
and
I
you didn't
didn't-
even know what was going on. And you're like, oh, okay, well, oh
But
my
I didn't
God.
want to be friends for like all those years.
Of
Those 8 years. 'Cause
course.
I was like, no, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
look at how the universe brought it back
Oh,
in a way for you to open up the door to, but you won't let yourself go there. That in itself, that restriction that you've put on yourself, that restriction is what's inhibiting you.
But I don't feel that restriction from him because that's why it could be someone else. That's why I'm like,
yourself.
but I know that's why I'm wondering, is there someone else that I'm not thinking of?
maybe,
But it sounds like that
Because-
guy.
maybe.
Yeah, but
But-
I've never had strong feelings for him in any regard.
No, it
Like,
didn't
zero.
say that you necessarily did.
You know, so like, that's why I'm trying to think of like, there's no one else. I mean, I've had some,
Well, there's somebody in your cup. Let me rephrase.
yeah,
There's somebody in your cup you won't open the door to. Which
but I have a
means
long-term, I've known them for a long time.
they've been in your life in
Consistently?
some capacity for a while. So you've known them, but you don't want to let yourself go there with them. So don't say, I'm looking for a relationship, I'm looking for the right relationship, and I'm looking for the relationship to happen now. The relationship is they're knocked on your door.
So maybe it's not that guy.
Maybe it's not that
Yeah,
guy.
because I mean, he literally only reappeared a couple months ago, and I was also
maybe
like,
it's not that guy.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I
Well, when we're not here
yeah,
and your mind is going, and just like the unexpected person that I told
Yeah.
you about who's going to be opening up an opportunity for you when
Yeah.
you least expected, this is the same thing. They've always been present.
This podcast is brought to you by Herdat Media and American Media Television. Executive producers are Patrick Simpson, Paula Tu, and Pat Safford. Produced by Jordan Hill and Sarah Silicula. Shooting and editing by Jordan Hill. Music by Digital Camo. Artwork by Dominique Demetz. And hosted by Paula Tu, Patrick Simpson, and Little Snow White 90210. Remember to follow at Paula Tu and at Patrick Simpson and at Snow White 90210 and watch Gown and Out in Beverly Hills on Prime Video. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode.